Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And as promised, finally live. I am going to be taking the next few minutes to tweet out uh, to people that I'm live uh, and try and let people know. And I hope you'll come join me. And type into when you get into the YouTube room. Okay. And I'm going to send you that URL now. Join me live. Tweet it out. And we will see how things progress here. And I'm just waiting for some people to come on in. Join me. Actually, it's really funny as we wait for a couple people to come in and we do that. Uh, it it's fun to share some. It's fun to share some uh, stuff that I've been looking through to use on air. Let me get myself situated here. I am so looking forward to tonight, and um, gosh, I can't even tell you. It's been rough because I did my first 6 or 7 shows, and then I got the freaking like the Ebola virus, man. The flu that's um going around, and this flu is not like other flus. I've you know, shit, 57 years old. I've had the flu a few times, right? This was mind bending. I mean, I couldn't even believe. Uh, I couldn't even believe it. Like I didn't want to go to the hospital and all that kind of stuff, but I did just out of curiosity. I called the CDC and I asked them, like, what's up with this year's flu? You know, what's up with this year's flu? Um, why? Gosh, why? Oh, why does it feel like something so terrible? And I was astounded at the. I was astounded at the way the flu this year is actually hitting people because I don't think people are getting the idea yet. And I really want to. This usually would not be how I'd open a show, especially my first. live show, and thank you so much for being here. I am really grateful. Okay, let me like rewind for a second and just go, whoa, you're here. Thank you. I freaking appreciate it. And uh, I chose to do this show because I believe that I can bring some things, not everything, of course. I mean, you know, but I believe I can bring some things to light that perhaps you haven't seen yet, and that's the cool thing. The cool thing is that if you know, I'm trying to think of what were my reasons for deciding to do this. My reasons for deciding to do this were that you were tuning in to the news, right? And you were getting a headline, right? Where they would say, like, for instance, like, take something out of today's news. Fruman and Parnas, blah, 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 right? But nobody says to you, um, where'd they come from? Who are these guys? What is their background? What, like, tell me the rest of that story. Fill me in. Like, give me dirt. Like, give me the soil. Give me the dirt. Give me the give give me the stuff so that I understand what is going on. That that is what that is what I am here to tell you about. Okay? That is what I'm here to tell you about. The stuff that you're not getting from the rest of the news. The idea behind what I say is that the mainstream media doesn't actually complete the dot connect. And I'm going to mention a person here, Donna. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being here before the show. Uh, Awesome human being, helping me um, get the live stream in order and making it so that we have a place to congregate, we have a place to talk. And so I hope some people will put out some tweets and go ahead and grab this. URL, and um, put it out there so that more people can join us. And I'm putting that in the chat room right now. I just put that in the chat room. And I'd like you to join me. And we're going to talk about my specific, in my time as an investigator. And I was everything from an investigator to a mercenary to a bodyguard. Like real stuff, not this, fat kids on the block decide to do something. I'm talking about in, in some of those Soviet states back in the evil days. Um, Stories I wish I could tell you completely, and I'm going to tell you something. I can't tell you all, but I will tell you. I'm just now starting to feel better, like, I don't know. What the hell is on that screen over there? Come on, man. Thank you so much, AVG. Just pop up and put any old crap you feel like putting up there in the middle of whatever you feel like doing, dude. Don't worry about me. This is like the world we live in, right? This is like the world we live in. So, all right. I'm going to start tonight's first live stream, Last Chance Radio with David Benjamin. And I am going to tell you something you will never hear, ever. Not even in the congressional hearings. I'm not kidding. I'm going to tell you this. In 19. Gosh, maybe I should wait a few more minutes. Get some more people in here. Can we get more people in here? Could you guys do me a favor? Seriously. Could you guys just grab the URL and tweet it out and ask for some more people to join us. Hello, Kathy Alvarez, I see you. Hello, Donna Bishop, I see you too. Bah, ha, ha, Kathy Alvarez. What does that mean? Does that have a meaning of some sort? Or in any event, I am going to tell you an amazing story tonight that you've never heard anywhere else. Not even with anything that you've ever heard. But I hope some of you will tweet out the URL to come and listen to this. And I am going to tell you this story, and I'm going to start it in just a moment. Okay? Take about 30 seconds. Okay? Take about 30 seconds and go tweet out this URL. I'd like some people to join us. And, I mean, seriously, just so you know, I'm really grateful that you're here to begin with. Because you are the first seeds. You're the first opportunity for me. And I'm grateful for that. Okay? So go ahead and take a couple seconds, tweet this out, get some people here. Let's yo, Kathy Alvarez. Let's get some people here, man. I want to spread the good word. Bless their hearts. All right. Well, we can't wait forever, right? So here's what we got to do here. In your background there, hopefully you can see some of the stories that are just propagating throughout uh, the internet about Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman, right? Now, I can show you more. I can and I will. I will show you more. But first, actually, I want to tell you something. And this is actually important to me because, and I guess we're going to get on with the show here. Okay? I am actually a South Florida guy. I went to North Miami Beach Senior High School. And all of the stuff down here that Trump has got his filthy mitts on is like where I grew up. Now, I'll bet there are a bunch of people from the New Jersey shore and his casino stuff who would probably feel the same way I feel about him coming into their area as well. So, probably not the only person who feels that way. But back in the day, okay, back when I was a kid growing up, like 1980s and that kind of stuff, graduated high school in 1980. This was what the Castaways looked like. This was a place you could go and hang out at the tiki bar, and man, it was like a special place, you know. And now look at look at this crap. Okay, yeah, they're cute pictures, right? You know, oh, isn't that luxurious, etc., etc. Um, the thing is it has no warmth. There's no, there's no like town to it. You know, there's no feel. It's just surgical. It's really quite disgusting, to be honest with you. But that's okay. We've got our people that we're going to focus on tonight. You may not be able to see these images quite yet, but you will see them in a moment. And when you do, you'll be like, holy crap! Holy crap! So, here's the thing that I really want to get through to you. And I hope you'll bear with me. And the pictures that you're going to start to be seeing there is DeSantis and the Florida race, right? DeSantis Nunez. But guess who's in all those pictures? Guess who's in all those pictures? Parnas and Fruman. Parnas and Fruman. Who would think? Listen, so here is my push forward, my notes, and I always take really copious notes, especially when we see the kinds of things we're seeing right now being played in front of us as if we're some kind of freaking idiots. And what makes me really sad is that according to the polls, this, that, and the other thing, 40% of America is idiots. Holy crap. What are we going to do with that? I mean, for real. It's. God, I hope they wake up soon. I guess that's the only thing I can say. What else can I say, you know? But let's go to the biggest show on Broadway right now. I'll use my Barry White voice to talk to you. Just joke. But the show going on, so to speak, as the Republicans, piglikins would put it, is that, yep, Donna, Partisan formula. I see it. Um, the thing is, listen, this thing that's happening, okay? This is not about a Bill Clinton BJ, okay? I remember when that broke in the news, and I thought about it, and I honestly came out thinking it was disrespectful to the office to carry on a sex act within the Oval if that is exactly where it happened, etc. Okay. But this is not a BJ. We're grown up adults here. We can speak. Okay. If you walk into a bank with a pistol and you stick it up to the teller and go, give me MFing money. And at that moment, you hear sirens pulling up in front of the joint, and you go, oh shit, I got a haul ass. And you bolt, right? Does that mean because you didn't get the money that you didn't commit a crime? Of course you committed a crime. You walked in there with the intent of taking things that did not belong to you. That was your intent. That was your intention. And I've always said to a couple of my friends who are attorneys, judge people by their intent, not their crime. Judge people by... There are people who are homeless who commit crimes because A, they need to go to jail because it's freezing outside, or B, because they're just freaking hungry. This is a true thing in America. Okay? Now, backing up and away from that, let's stay with the oligarchist craziness that we are all learning about as we go here as well. I want you all to look at Wikipedia, Genie Energy, and see that you got everyone from CIA chiefs to vice presidents, on and on. And I'd also like you to watch my video about the Tri-Pact that involves Kushner and BS, and how they funneled money from Qatar through a blockade done by the Saudi Navy of Qatar. Got Jared Kushner $900 million for a 99-year lease on 10% of the 666 building. This is real. It's not made up. I didn't just invent those numbers out of my head. I wish I could. I'm just not that smart. Okay? Really not. It's real stuff. Hey, Bad Company. I see you. Let's see. Little Mini Felix Sater. I hope you're not calling me Little Mini Felix Sater. But welcome, Bad Company. Kathy Alvarez, Donna Bishop, my Resista sister, Donna. Thank you, darling. Um, and the next thing I wanted to bring up was this: is that take Donald Trump. It's hard enough to do as it is, right? But people are dying under his crown. People are dying. And the people who are dying are A, number one, people on the southern border trying to get to freedom, trying to get to the United States. People trying to get to a better way of life. That's one. That's Donald Trump one way of killing people. The second way is him turning his back on the Kurdish people. What he did in empowering Erdogan to cross the border and attack these people who have been our stalwart, big time friends. And I wasn't there 3 times. Okay, I wasn't I wasn't up in the north there 3 times, but I was there 2 times. I was there. And I can tell you that the Kurdish people love the United States. They love Americans. They think what we stand for and what we believe in and what we fight and die for is worth fighting and die for. Can I make that any clearer for you? Can I make it any clearer? Well, I got to tell you, folks, there are times when I start to get freaking pissed off. And you know what? I'm thinking about a 7-month period that I spent in that northern area up against Turkey with the Kurds fighting ISIS, okay? Drilling holes in those pieces of shit. Excuse my language, but fuck them. And I try not to use that kind of language very often. But that kind of language is more than fair for the vile black flag animals that I encountered. And you know who stood by my side, made sure I had a fresh magazine? You know who stood by my side, made sure I didn't get taken prisoner? He made sure honest deal that if we got injured, if we got wounded, man I met, the man I served next to was not an American, he was a Kurd. We made a deal. If we can't get out, if we are looking at capture by these animals, you shoot me, I'll shoot you at the same time, or we'll do our best to do it and finish it off. And I am not kidding you. That is the honest, that is the truth. I'll never forget that man. And we turn our backs on those people who went out and grabbed up our fighter pilots out of A-10s, F-16s, F-18s, Hornets, Falcon, whatever, okay? And choppers, okay? Those people were there to make sure our people got home. So what does this guy do? You know what guy I'm talking about, right? You don't throw the people that are loyal to you, the people that shed their blood for you, the people that are willing to die to prove to you, because you're an American, you get to live in America, okay? And when we live in America, we have an expectation of where we live. Okay? We have an expectation. That expectation is I won't be assaulted and battered and berated and hounded upon. I can try and find work. I can walk freely in the streets. I won't be Nazified and fuckified. Okay? That is the beauty. Excuse that. That is the beauty of living in America. Living in America the way we do is an immensely intense experiment in freedom of the soul. And we are so lucky that we take for granted the way it is for other people in other parts of the world. I hope you hear me. I'm with you, Kathy Alvarez. I'm with you, Donna. Bad Company. Thank you for being here, man. Appreciate it. Hey, 1, 2, 3 people at a time. I'll start with you. And I'm grateful for that start. I believe I have a story to tell. I believe I have a methodology of telling that story. And I'm going to tell you those stories, my show notes and whatnot. Hey, at least I take some notes, right? I'll bet there's a lot of people that don't even do that. But anyways, we're going to try not to get down on other people here. We're going to try and always rise up above the anger. You could see if a moment ago I was getting a little perturbed that I know these people, the Kurds, and how Donald Trump just walked away. I really want to cuss badly, but I'm not going to. So, all right. And I'm looking at my show notes. I'm not hiding anything from you. I'm looking at them. Because I got to move on. And I got to... I've got to start tying some things together here so that you can see the ridiculousness of us turning our backs on the Kurds, right? Who have rescued tons of our people, stood next to my side, literally, and said, I won't let them take you. To the end. All right. That being said, something I really want to press upon here. Okay, the scenario that we're watching in Washington with the impeachment hearings. Okay, there are these. The Democrats are getting a little lost, I fear, not sticking to just the the concrete boundaries of what was wrong, what was done wrong, and how it should be fixed. It's like they're, I don't know, they just seem to just love these little factoids that go floating out into the ethosphere. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Who cares? Nobody cares about that. That's where we lose Republicans who might pay attention. If we didn't screw it up. Right? So listen, here's a big thing. I want you to use this in your own conversations with other people, and I want you to please, I'm asking, consider this as a constant to utilize as a fact. On September 9th was when the story broke that the Trump administration was withholding Javelin missiles to stop Russian tanks. September 9th, okay? On September 11th, mysteriously, the Trump administration releases that $400 million in military aid to fight off the Russians in a hot, bloody war. How many people have to die under this man that aren't Americans, like on the south border, Kurds, Ukrainians? How many people have to die before we start to get it? I can't tell you what to think. I can only share my experiences. I can only share I can only share what I know to be true. And that's also a good thing, because it means you won't ever hear any made up BS coming out of me. You'll get the truth as I know it. And that is the best I can ever offer. But I promise you, my well traveled behind has some decent perspective on the way things work throughout the world. Now, there is another thing I wanted to bring up. And I want you to understand this. In 1991, 92, 93, I was an investigator. Private. Worked for corporations, insurance companies on doing counter, just, I don't want to go too far into that, but that was what I did. That was my job. Now, when I did this job, one of the jobs I was brought in to do in New York City, I walked into just big old wide, bright eyes going, I don't know. Let's see what's going on. I had no idea, right? So, we were tasked with finding out what were the mob influences in New York and the surrounding boroughs. That was it. That was like, here's your mandate. Bring us back. Bring us back. Bring us back all the information you can on who runs what in all the mobs out here. So I took my buddy Ben, my buddy Gary. We went back to a hotel room. We sat down, and I said, "Jesus Christ, how do just?" It wasn't just us three. We had another couple of guys with us, but I'm not mentioning their names because some of them are still operational. But the point being, um, hell, fire. That was a large order. That was a large order. Um, Tell us all about the mob throughout New York City, New Jersey, and all the boroughs of Bronx, man. Blah blah blah. What? What? Are you kidding me? So the first thing I did was went back the next day to the boss of the company and I said, "Is that? Did I get all this right, or do you just want us to focus on Queens, or do you just want us to focus on Manhattan, or this, that, or the other thing, right?" No, no, we want it all. I said, "Well, let me explain something to you. That's not a 10-minute process, okay? Uh, there's a lot of stuff going on here. I am going to take a 1 minute break, give you a minute break, so get a glass of something and whatnot, and I will be right back, and we will continue. So we're going to talk about Dave and his team finding mob ties, and guess where those mob ties led to? You're about to get some inside intel you're not getting from anywhere else. Stand by. We'll be right back. Thank you, folks. I appreciate your patience. And I like what Donna said. You can't piss off anti corruption people without pissing off corrupt people. That was brought up in the hearings today, wasn't it? Actually, that was George Kent who said that. Very well spoken gentleman. As well as the ambassadors, both of them. But I'm gonna go back to my story because I want to tell you about my own stories, things that I know to be true, things that I lived through, things that I know. Okay, the breakdown from Brighton Beach, Coney Island, in the 90s, or early 90s, 91, 92, 93, in there. Okay? That was where the original incoming Russian emigres uh, made their castles, made their home, made their bunkers, whatever you want to call it. Okay? That was the incoming place. And so when hey, look at that, you can see me again, right? So when this began to take place was also the same time that we were hired on this job to tell this former Mossad guy who ran a investigative company in New York City about what was going on. He wanted a layout. He wanted to know who was where. Who, like, okay, the Chinese owned Chinatown, and the Italian mafia owned this part of the West Upper Side, and I remember we literally oversaw and took pictures of Vinny the Chin Giante out on the street, conducting business. I don't know what else to call it. And I don't know what kind of business, of course. But we did photograph him with the bull. We photographed him with a lot of the old school guys that are now gone, or flipped, or this or that. And we didn't know at the time the images that we were taking were so poignant, so to speak, because they were of the big people. But that's where we were, and that's what we did. The other thing that amazed me, and this is what makes it so, this is what makes our early 90s investigation so interesting now, is that Donald Trump was going into the casino business. And we had become aware of the Russian mob affiliation within, just not affiliation, so, but not, it's not with the city or anything, because I don't want to blight any place that those people were. But the point is that in Brighton Beach, New York, Coney Island style, is that that was where they congregated and they made their nightclubs and bars and uh, did their business out of. And we, when we were tasked with the idea of digging up who was who was mob where in different parts of New York City, you know, including the boroughs, from Tribeca down southwest to all the way out to way east in Queens or anywhere out there. But it's it's not that big, but it's also very big. It's strange. It's strange the way it is. It's a small place, but it's a big place. Anyways, we did we did connect um, the construction of Trump's casinos and the union bosses that were part of uh, building his casinos to not only it was like half Russian, half Italian. Okay, and we did this ourselves. I mean, we were like we had no budget, but we still managed. God help us, we were awful young kids, man, and we relished in the fact that we understood how to use a little bit of some technology that was, I am not kidding, a Vox operate like a think about a Vox operated cassette tape machine. Okay, now into the microphone jack you plug in a microphone, but it's not a regular microphone. It's a suction cup, and you lick it and you stick it on a window. Every time someone walks in the room and starts talking, the thing starts playing, recording. That's old school intelligence gathering. You won't hear people tell you about that anywhere. Ever. I'm telling you about it because we did it. And we did a good job. And I can tell you this. What's my point, right? What's the point of all this storytelling? Donald Trump has been in bed with the Russian mafia since like 90, 91, 92, and probably earlier. And now, right, we go from the Trump casinos in New Jersey to partisan and Fruman, Ukrainians, interference that emanates out of Sunny Isles, Florida. Right? Well, what's really interesting about that is that what I was showing you earlier, okay, is that Sunny Isles is like this kind of thing now, right? And back in my day, back as kids, you know, there was this flotsam jetsam. It was just a great, cool place to grow up and be a kid, you know, with these. I don't know. What would you call these things? I don't even know what you would call them. Uh, chintzy or schmaltzy, there's a bunch of different kinds of words you could use for this stuff, but my point being that it kind of took away from us our small town feel and replaced it with stay out, stay off my lawn, you know. Um, what are you gonna do with that, you know? And the only thing I can think of from here is this: is that now that we're starting to see how these people operate, right? Like, maybe this there may be like a really great upside to this. That, and I'm saying the entire Trump administration may be a blessing on the back end for us. Okay, and so what do I mean? Well, yeah, of course he sucks, and we know that. Okay, but aside from that, the one thing that we are learning is how these dirty MFers do this MFing oligarchist type BS. And now that we understand it, now that we're being schooled in this stuff, we can see it. And if we can see it and understand what it is, then it's going to be an awful lot harder to play us out like a bunch of chumps. You see what I'm saying? Listen, I was born in South Florida. I love South Florida and all of it's like even before there. I was here before the Art Deco was here, you know, or well, I guess Art Deco is 40s too, so I can't really say that, but it almost went away, and then there was the Miami Vice period, and this, that, and the other thing. So, you know, like, we all have connections to our places. I hate the fact that the Russians are coming to my town, South Florida, and it doesn't make me happy. So, what am I going to do about it? It's a good question, right? What am I going to do about that? Well, I don't know. But I will be thinking about it. I will be thinking about it. I think all of us have learned some amazing things from the hearings. Let us continue to keep our minds open and always adhere to the law and be the best people we can be. Empathetic, caring, and kind. And I can tell you this, something struck me this past weekend when I went out for a walk. So many people were so much more kind and caring than I've seen in a long time, and it made me feel really good. So, let's have a little hope and faith. Let's have let's have a belief that the American spirit does live, and that we will overcome any of this nonsense. We will be better people for this trial. And we'll come out the other end and we'll be the better for it. I'm David Benjamin, and this is Last Chance Radio. I want to thank you for tuning in to my first actual live show. I really appreciate it. Have a great night.